Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to the 9th program in operating system lecture series, and today we plan to discuss file systems. You'll recall that in our previous lectures, in the very first lecture, while we introduced the concept of operating systems and the subject of operating systems, we did discuss briefly the file systems. We know that files are used to store the information, and in that lecture we also covered file hierarchy, and we discussed that file system is organized in the directory structure or in a tree structure where we have a directory and we have subdirectories. And about the file hierarchy, we remember that file hierarchy can go as deep as you want. File hierarchy is permanent, and file hierarchy can be accessed by number of users. I mean, ownership of the file hierarchy can also change. And in that lecture, we also covered block special files, and we discussed that block special files are used to model the disks. And in that lecture, we also covered character special files, and we learned that character special files are used to model the printers, I/O devices, network interfaces, and the like. And in that very first lecture, we also discussed the file protection, Unix file protection mechanism, and in that we discussed that in the Unix operating system environment, we have a 9-bit protection code. And in that 9-bit protection code, the first 3 bits are for the owner, the second 3 bits are for the members of the owners group, and the last 3 bits are for anybody else who is on the system. And we discussed that in these 3 bits, first bit is for read, second bit is for write, and the last bit is for execute permissions. That is regarding our background information, background knowledge about the file systems. Let's see what we plan to cover today. Today we'll discuss about the file naming conventions. We'll discuss file attributes, file structure, file types, file access mechanisms, file operations, and we'll also discuss the directories. In the directory, we'll further expand on the hierarchical directory structure, absolute and relative path names, and directory operations. Now, why the files are needed? Files are needed, number one, to store large amount of information. Number two, files are needed to keep the information with us while after the process which created that information terminates. And we also need files that multiple processes concurrently should be able to access that information. This leads us to the concept of file systems. And file system is basically that part of the operating system which deals with the structure, naming, access, use, protection, and implementation of the files. Once again, the file system is that part of the operating system which deals with the structure, naming, access, use, protection, and implementation of the files. Now we come to the first issue in the file system, and that is the naming. At the very outset, one would be interested, what is the significance of the name? And you will recall, whenever a baby is born, everybody is worried about what should be the name of the child. Name is important, and the significance of the name is that it associates a recognition. It associates something physical with that particular place, a thing, or a person. When we say he is Ahmed, it means that particular person is known and recognized by that name. And similarly, if we say we'll go to Lahore, it means that the name Lahore is associated with that particular city. It means name gives us the recognition, right? And same is true with the files. Whenever a process generates some information and we want to save that information for future use, obviously we would like to associate a name with that file, so that whenever for some future reference we want to use that information, we should have a recognizable name with that entity of information. Okay? And in almost all operating systems, naming conventions are almost standard. Every operating system provides a naming convention with its file systems. Now we'll basically discuss three important operating systems. For example, DOS, Windows, and Unix environment. We'll see how the naming convention is established, how the naming conventions are set up. In the DOS, for example, we have DOS allows 8-character file name and recognition not character sensitive. That means when we say the name of the file is AIOU and it is in all capital letters, or we say AIOU all in small letters, or we say AIOU in which A is capital, all other are small, or we say AIO and U is capital, first three are small and last one is capital. For MS-DOS, all are the same file name. If you save as AIOU, 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 or this AIOU in this pattern, it is the same file. Just it will be the operating system will treat it as a single file. And further, in a DOS environment, the file extension is limited to 3 characters. Now let's see what are the naming conventions in a Windows environment. In Windows environment or Windows NT environment, it allows the file name up to 255 characters. The file name in Windows and Windows NT is up to 255 characters, although the full path name is only allowed to be maximum of 260 characters. Something which is different in a Windows environment is that longer extensions are allowed. More than 3 characters long extensions are allowed. For example, we see here we have AIOU, the file name, doc is the file. Here this extension is 3 characters, .html, which is 4 characters. It means we can have multiple extensions from .doc is one extension, .html is another extension. It means in the Windows environment, we can have more than one extension and we can have a longer extension, means longer than 3 characters. In the Unix environment, the naming conventions are as follows. In the Unix environment, we see here AIOU all caps, AIOU all small, A capital IOU small, AIOU small, U capital are all different file names. If we save a file with all capitals AIOU, this is a recognizable standalone file name. If we say save a file with AIOU all small names, the Unix environment will recognize it as a separate standalone file, and so on. It means in the Unix environment, the file names are character sensitive. If you change a character from cap to small or small to cap, it means the operating system will recognize it as a separate file name. Further, in the Unix environment, like Windows, the longer extensions are also allowed, and 2 extensions are also allowed in the Unix environment. For example, we see here AIOU.c.z, which is in the zip format. It means we have we have 2 extensions here in the Unix environment. Gentlemen, while we were discussing the significance of name, we alluded that we name a person, and obviously a person is named Muhammad Ahmad, Aslam Hayat, or Mujahid Nizami. We have the name is in different parts, and we very often we use with that, let's say, the last name. We have first name, a middle name, and last name. Whenever we say that this is the person's last name, it associates a particular identification with that particular name. When we say a person is Khan, or a person is Malik, or a person is Chaudhry, if we treat that as an extension, or let's say we say it is Mr. or Dr. or Mrs., if we treat that as an extension, that gives us some information about that very particular person. It means the extension associated with the real name gives us some information about that person's qualities or some attributes. Similarly, in the same way as we have the extension Dr., Mr., Mrs. with the name, with the file name we have extensions, and that these extensions tell us about what is in the file, and operating system use that extension to recognize that what is kept, what type of data is kept in that file. Okay, let's see why we use, primarily we use extensions for the operating system purpose, because operating system recognizes that what type of data is in that particular file. Apart from that, extensions serve some purpose, some other purposes. Let's see what they are. File extension is used to tell the operating system what type of data is in the file, and it also associates the file with a certain application program. Similarly, the operating systems provide us some tool that we can change the file association from one program to the other. In the operating system, we have tools available with which, by using these tools, we can change the association of that particular file. Let's go over some common extensions. I'm sure you're familiar with that. For example, bin, if a .bin file will be essentially a binary file. .c will be a C program. .cpp will be C++ file. Similarly, DLL will identify that it is a dynamic link library file. .doc will indicate that it is a Microsoft Word file. EXE stands for executable file. HLP, if the extension is HLP, it's a help file. If the extension is TXT, it is a text file. If it's XLS, then it's Microsoft Excel file, and so on. The extension given with a file, and sometimes operating system itself assigns an extension to a file, and that associates that file with a particular application program. We discussed that each file contains name, obviously, and some data in it. Apart from that, file contains some more information. Other than the file name and data, file contains some more information, and we call that file attributes. And these file attributes are essential. They describe basically, these are the properties of that particular file and some associated information to recognize who is the owner of the file, who created that file, what is the size of the file, when this file was created, who owns this file, who has the access permissions, who has the execute permissions, and so on. And the common file attributes are, let's look at in this table. In fact, various operating system would have various file attributes, but the common file attributes are, for example, archive flag, which will describe that the bit field which has the file been archived or not, then creation date or time, who created this file, if there are some hidden flags, if the file is hidden or not, when this file was last accessed, who is the owner of the file. You see here creator and you see here owner. creator may or may not be, when a creator creates a file, creator will be obviously owner of the file, but creator can assign somebody else as an owner as well. If let's say I create a file, then I assign that the owner of this file is any particular other user. A creator can create a file, then that creator can assign that somebody else owns this file. This is doable. Then we see in other attributes are password, protection, read only, or what is the size in bytes, what is the system flag, and what are the temporary flag, and so on. These are the file attributes which are also associated with every file based on the type of operating system. Every file has name, data, and associated file attributes. Now let's talk about the file structure. You know that computer only understands the information in zeros and ones, bits and bytes. But in order to give that organization some structure, we have to, various operating systems use various schemas to store that information. And one schema is using or saving the information as sequence of bytes. Okay. And in that, it is up to the user program that access the file to interpret the byte sequence. One file structure is the sequence of byte, and it is up to the user program that accesses the file to interpret the byte sequence. Another file structure is fixed length record, and each with some internal structure. A read operation returns a record, while a write operation overwrites or append a record. Yet another file structure is variable length record, and that is arranged in the tree format, each record containing a key field for access, sort, or other file operations. We discussed that the file structure could be A, in the sequence of byte, B, in the shape of sequence of records, fixed length records, or the file could be saved in variable length records. Now let's look at a diagram and see how all these structures are depicted in a diagram. In this diagram, we see here the byte structure. The file is just a series of bytes, and file is saved, and it is up to the user program to manipulate this information, which is just stored in the sequence of bytes. The second, we see the structure which is basically in the form of records, record 1, record 2, record 3, record 4, same length record. And this third structure, we see a tree structure. In this tree structure, the records could be variable length of any length. But in this tree structure, with each record, there is a reference field which identifies that particular record. Let's say if we would like to see, we want to see this particular record, and we'll go, the key field is pony here. And we would like to, if we want to access this particular field, we'll say pull the record with a key field pony.